and the arts tourism.
This report, Madam Chair, and this was conducted last August 6 with quorum. There are 3 items tackled in this report. Number 1, letter dated February 20, 2020 of Mr. Cesar R. Maestrado, City Assessor, relative to Barangay Resolution number 22-20-009 of San Francisco the City, determining the owner of the lot where the stall serving cooked food known as Face the World are located. May I go directly to the disposition. On motion of Honorable Salvador del Castillo, duly seconded by Honorable Jose Perez, the body resolved to refer back the matter to the proponent and for them to ask permission from the church to give them that parcel of land. I so move, Mr. Madam Chair. Second is letter dated February 20, 2020 of Mr. Cesar R. Maestrado, City Assessor, relative to Barangay Resolution number 18044 of Balatas, the City, determining whether the subject lot in the resolution are private or city property. May I go directly to the disposition, Madam Chair? The body resolved to refer the matter to the City Engineer's Office and City Legal Office for comment and recommendation. I so move, Madam Chair. Third is Barangay Resolution 2020-023 of San Francisco, Naga City, requesting to recognize the historical significance of Inaawasan Street of Barangay San Francisco and providing financial and technical assistance, especially in the design and construction of commemorative marker in Inaawasan. May I go to the disposition, Madam Chair? On motion of Honorable Salvador del Castillo, the body resolved to return the matter to the Barangay Council of San Francisco and for them to ask the help of ACTO and to prepare activities for the 50th anniversary of the Inaawasan. I so move, Madam Chair. That ends up my report. Thank you.
The letter dated August 6, 2020 from the City Budget Officer submitting the amortization schedule for the 1.165 billion loan being proposed by the City Mayor and other information relevant thereto. Approve. The letter dated August 3, 2020 of Ms. Ariane May Aurios of Dito Community requesting for conduct a public hearing for their application for approval of their construction, installation, and operation of telco facilities project in the letter dated August 5, 2020 of the City Budget Officer identifying the source of fund for the proposed creation of positions for Sid Montessori. The same can be sourced from salary savings. The budget requirement can be taken from reversion of salary savings from position of City Administrator of his office.
Happy, Madam Chair, so that I can prepare the necessary, the draft ordinance for that purpose. Yes, it was already reported out by the Committee on Laws, Ordinances, and Reorganization, and we're just waiting for this certification from the Budget Officer. Yes. I will just prepare the draft ordinance.
The letter dated August 3, 2020 of Mr. Rene Gomba of Public Safety Office forwarding the recommendation as regard to the proposed ordinance authorizing the grant and payment of traffic enforcement incentives to all volunteer traffic enforcers, providing guidelines for its implementation, appropriating funds, and for other purposes. The letter dated August 6, 2020 of Mrs. Gregoria Nilda Abunal, City Treasurer, submitting the computation on business tax, surcharge, and interest for second quarter of 2020 of Nikader 6 Foods and In Iron Diner. Copy of the comment and recommendation of Mr. Florencio T. Mongoso, Peso Manager, with respect to the proposed ordinance establishing the Naga City Community Employment Program of the Honorable Lucilito S.A. del Rosario. CLO.
During the committee hearing of the committee, joint committee of ano ito, ma'am? APRO and Livelihood, the members asked the Metro Peso to comment on these two proposals. Actually, common purpose man lang. And this is the some of the comments of the Metro Peso manager. I think if we have still time, Madam Chair, we ask siguro the presence of Mr. Mongoso to explain. So, para ma-dispose na ni Madam Chair. Department.
The letter dated August 10, 2020 from the City Legal Office requesting ratification of the deed of absolute sale between the city and Maria Julia Laureles and heirs of Leonardo Catolico, both duly represented by Mr. Jaime Laureles, on the acquisition of the road right-of-way for Calawag San Felipe Circumferential Road. Signed by Attorney Maranyo, Madam Chair.
The project, the
property was expropriated and the judgment was on compromise. But I think it is necessary. We've been wondering about that.
but there's already a compromise agreement, but we still have to approve a deed of sale. I think it has something to do with BIR, with the processing of tax payments. I think it's easier if it is a deed of sale presented to the BIR than a compromise agreement. Maybe it's too complicated for the BIR to consider. That's why another document, which is a deed of sale, containing, of course, the same terms as in the compromise agreement. So, may I move, Madam Chair, that considering that the same is contained in the compromise agreement already ratified by the Sangguniang Panglungsod, may I move for the ratification of this deed of sale.
The letter dated August 7, 2020 from the City Treasurer submitting the data on the surcharges and interest of the second and third quarter payment of business taxes. Ways and means. The letter dated August 8, 2020 from Mr. Alex Santos, Chief of Office, ACTO, submitting his recommendation with respect to City Ordinance number 2020-046. Copy. Recommending amendment. Kasi lumay. Yeah. Kasi nga si Maris, nakasirok na yan. Kasirok na si Maris. The letter dated August 8, 2020 from Engineer Rolando Campillos of the HSDO requesting ratification of the joint venture agreement between the city and Enjoy Realty Development Corporation in compliance to the housing. Next. The letter dated August 7, 2020 from the Naga City Investment Board regarding the proposed revised investment code, submitting a comparative presentation.
Trade and Industry. Committee on Trade and Industry. Next item.
The letter dated August 7, 2020 from the Honorable City Mayor requesting for an expropriation ordinance to acquire the properties of Mr. Alfredo Baron et al. In Barangay Pacol for the implementation of the one-time, big-time strategy to address the housing needs of the Nagaenos.
Housing. Committee on Housing.
House. The letter dated August 7, 2020 from the Philippine National Police through Police Colonel Marlon M. Catan with respect to the Trimobile registered in the name of Celedonio Sabatero.
Committee on Transport. Transport. Next.
The letter dated August 10, 2020 from the City Treasurer submitting her comment on the request of Mr. Ferdinand Sia of the Metro Naga Chamber of Commerce to extend the deadline of payment of real property taxes.
Ways and Means. Committee on Ways and Means.
The report to the Committee on Senior Citizen.
Honorable Greg Abunal.
Madam Chair, kindly acknowledge the report of the Committee on Senior Citizen on its meeting last
Yesterday.
Friday.
Okay. Your report is acknowledged.
There was only one item, Madam Chair, and this is the proposed ordinance authored by Councilor Mila Rakid Arroyo, an ordinance establishing a senior citizens bake shop for production of birthday cake for all senior citizens in the city of Naga, which shall likewise serve as a livelihood activity for the sector in support of the programs of the senior citizen organization in the different barangays of the city, in recognition and gratitude um, for their contribution for the contribution that senior citizens have made in the continuing development of Naga City, and appropriating the amount of 5 million pesos as 5 million pesos, and therefore for the purpose. May we proceed to the
Proceed.
disposition, Madam Chair? On motion of Honorable Del Rosario, duly seconded, the committee resolved to recommend to the Sangguniang Panlungsod to request Metro Peso to prepare feasibility study on the proposal and submit the same within 30 days from transcript thereof. So move, Madam Chair.
Any second? Approve.
That ends the report, Madam
Thank you,
Chair.
Honorable Bonal. May I request the Honorable Rosales to... Ay, ma-report ka? O may I request the Honorable Rosario to occupy...
The report of the Committee on Appropriations.
Councilor Rosales is recognized. Pwedeng palaba-labaon mo, Uying, ang report mo.
The report will only tackle one matter, Mr. Chair.
Saro lang.
So,
Okay.
may I request acknowledgement of the report of the Committee on Appropriations.
The report is acknowledged.
The committee meeting was held August 10, and there was a quorum. On the first and only item, letter dated August 4, 2020 of His Honor, the City Mayor, requesting for the passage of an ordinance reverting to unappropriated balance the amount of 20 million and appropriating the same for the city's economic stimulus package. May I proceed to the disposition, Mr.
Please
Chair?
proceed.
On motion of the Honorable Elmer Baldemoro, seconded by Honorable Albios, the committee resolved to recommend to the Sanggunian to pass an ordinance reverting to unappropriated balance the amount of 20 million and appropriating the same for the city's economic stimulus package. I so move for its approval.
Before the final approval, Councilor Del Castillo, sir.
May I inquire, Mr. Chair, the source of fund of that 20 million? Because it's not clearly indicated in the source. It just says that we are reverting to the unappropriated balance the amount of 20 million, but the source is not specific. What is the source of that reversion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. The Honorable Del Castillo is correct that the source should be indicated in the reversion. So the source is the balance of 58 million from the welfare goods of the City Social and Welfare Development, which we have appropriated for which we have earlier appropriated for the purchase of rice during the enhanced community quarantine, and because of the grant from the Bayanihan to Heal Us Act 1, the said appropriation was not fully utilized.
So is there a certification to the effect that that amount is really available, still available?
The city budget officer has submitted to the committee during the meeting the balance, and can we just have it flash if it is available? The submitted document from the city budget office. There was a breakdown provided na inisiduang ordinance appropriating so much amount and inisi mga na charge and digdi, but I'm not sure if it will count as a certification as requested by the Honorable Del Castillo.
I raised that issue, Madam Chair, because we are reverting 20 million. So we must be sure that there is really an available fund from which this appropriation will be taken, will be sourced. If there is a written a document coming from the city budget office, so
Yeah, that's it.
mahiling ta si document na pig-submit kang city budget office.
The written certification, Madam Chair, as requested, is not provided by the City Budget Office. Ang tanda ko po itong isinubmit kang suudma kang City Budget Office is just a simple breakdown of the balance from the welfare goods.
At least a breakdown of
Yes. So
the
that
application, then what are the charges? What
yes, that was provided in the committee meeting. So may I request, was it provided to the secretariat?
But if it is part of the report, Madam Chair, so be it. But I just want to be to be sure that there is really a fund to cover this proposed application.
There is necessary funds.
Yes, Madam Chair. So can I just show this to the Honorable Del Castillo?
Acknowledging the presence of Mr. Jun Mongoso of Metro Peso.
So, it appearing, Madam Chair, that there is a sufficient amount to cover this operation. So, my question is already more than
Okay, thank you, Honorable Del Castillo.
So again, I reiterate the passage of the proposed ordinance of the City Mayor.
Any second? Okay, approved.
That ends my report.
Thank you, Honorable Rosales. Can we go back to item number 16, which is the comment and recommendation of Mr. Florencio Mongoso Jr. with respect to the proposed ordinance of Honorable Lito del Rosario. The rules is suspended. Okay, Honorable del Rosario.
There, si Mr. Mongoso po si nag-consolidate and probably we can hear yung specific ang si comments na naka-highlight man dyan.
Okay.
Good afternoon, pare.
Good afternoon, Sir John Mongoso. Sounds.
Di po si proposal kang executive, in-infuse ko man lang po so provisions under the proposed ordinance of the Honorable Del Rosario. Actually po si red ones naman lang. Yan. Si requirement po kaya yan sa accounting, before and after na picture kang si mga nahaman kang workers. Secondly po, dinagdag ta po si city agriculturist and siyempre of course si Metro Peso sa original proposal dahil ko na aram kung taano tanawara and the Solid Waste Management Office po. Next, si Inot po maintenance work lang, but very limited po kaya pag maintenance work lang, so we propose that we include repairs and improvements. Plus, si reforestation projects na pwede tapong idagdag man, siyempre, iba po dyan yung kaipuan na propagation kang mga seedlings to be planted. And para po matawanan taning kadiit na liway ang local chief executive, biglagan may pong proviso na other frontline services as may be determined by the office of the city mayor. Sisunod po, parehas, dinagdag naman lang nagiraray po si repair and or improvement. Tapos enumeration po nila, ganun talang ning but not limited to. Baka po may mahiling kitang mga kaipuhan na bakalon habang pag-i-implementa ang program. Sisunod po, si Inot na requirement is 3 years residency. Binabata po yan sa 1 year. In relation to letter C po, ang sabi po baga sa local government code, ang requirement lang sa residency is at least 6 months. Plus, in letter E po, based on IATF
About 20 years old.
orders, 21 and above lang po ang pwede magluwas and not more than 60 years old. Si dati po kaya 18 ang nila Agninda. Thus far, iyuman na po yan si kadagdagan.
Okay, Honorable Arroyo and then Honorable Abunal.
Can propose appropriation for the implementation of this program is already included in the 20 million stimulus package that we have just approved. Yes. Yes, I'm actually happy, Madam Chair, for the additional provisions initiated by the Metro Peso, particularly on seedling propagation, because I am crafting an ordinance, Madam Chair, also to implement the provision on urban gardening. In that particular program, we will be institutionalizing the integrated community food production program that the City Agriculture Office has started as a special project funded under the BUB. Unfortunately, it's not continued at the end of the project life. So it's worthy that we include it, and I think we can source the fund from that fund also.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Masaki Daroy. Honorable Abunal.
Necessarily, Madam Chair, we have the provisions for tools and equipment that may be necessary.
Yes po.
Dahil man po pwedeng magparako sa nakitang trabahador kung may man yung mga implements, dahil man magkatrabahong tulad. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Abunal. Any comment? Honorable Baldemoro.
Thank you, Madam Chair. During the committee hearing, Madam Chair, I suggested to consider also a PWD that can avail the temporary work in that particular project. Hindi ko lang po aram kung sa inyo pwedeng malagan provision on the consideration of hiring also a PWD.
Honorable Del Rosario, the author.
In Section 8, NCCF qualified beneficiaries. We can put in there those still able PWD to work. We can add it up. Letter F.
Letter F.
Thank you, Councilor Elman.
So you are amenable to the suggestion of the Honorable Baldemoro?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Honorable Rosales? And then...
May I also move, Madam Chair, to add as one of the functions of the NCCEP task group, aside from monitoring the project implementation, may I move to add the phrase or another sentence for the submission of accomplishment report and list of beneficiaries of the Naga City Community Emergency Employment Program. In section 5, Madam Chair, I think as a measure of transparency, the same way that we have, the DILG has required the posting of the list of beneficiaries of the sub-program. Sa iling ko, it will also add to the transparency na may report naman siya ang mga beneficiaryo kang mga programang ini, ano ang mga na-accomplish na mga projects, programs, which will be part of the function of the task group. So, as one of the probably letter G, report to the Sanggunian, an accomplishment report and consolidated list of beneficiaries of this program. I so move.
Okay, Honorable Del Rosario.
Yes, Madam Chair. We will consider as another subsect of Section 5, the list of beneficiaries and the accomplishment report.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Del Rosario. Honorable Abonal.
Seek clarification, if not information. The, the impression I have is that this program came about because of people who have lost their jobs. Is this program limited to only those persons who used to work but have lost their jobs, or it's open to everybody now? May we...
Okay, Honorable Del Rosario.
Thank you, Sir Greg. That's open to
everybody?
Everybody, because we have 4 categories of unemployed today, Madam Chair. 1, those who lost their employment because of COVID. 2, those who have just graduated and mayong trabaho hanggang ngunyan. 3, itong mga nag-uruli na mayong trabaho na ma-qualify naman sa residency requirement. And number 4, itong dati nang mayong trabaho hindi sa Naga. So
open to everybody.
Yes. So pag nag-falls in the demand, Madam Chair,
Yan lang.
consider naman.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Des. Honorable Matsaki Arroyo.
Madam Chair, I agree that the qualification should include or should be open to all who have no jobs. But I think the ordinance should spell out a priority for those who before COVID had employment, but because of COVID had lost such employment. I think we should spell that out. If it is to be a true COVID-19 response, that we should spell out that priority. Second, Madam Chair, on the functions of NCCEP, I think the perspective is proposals coming from the City Hall or offices organic to the City Hall outside. What if the proposal itself is coming from the department?
That's Tin, paki-scroll down. Proposals can come from the departments, barangays, and community through text messaging. That's included in the...
Where do we see that?
Tin, pakibalik mo sa taas. Sa taas pa.
Projects yan, bako yan.
Sa taas pa, Tin, sa taas pa. Sige, taas pa. Sige, taas pa. Taas pa tabi, Tin. Yan. Letter A, Section 3 implementations. Projects may be identified by the barangay, city government departments, or the community. The last through either text messages or any other.
Yeah. How about if the proposal comes from the member of the NCEEP? Because among the members are department heads. So what if the proposal comes from the member of the NCEEP itself?
As much as possible, Madam, intent of the proposed ordinance is to, of course, we also give way to the proposals of the departments because sinda si nakakahiling kan sitwasyon. Pero kung mas overwhelming kaya si request kang sa barangay na sinda si gusto talagang maano ni. So we give weight duman sa mga request from the barangays. At least
yeah, my concern is the siguro bako man, but it's possible conflict of interest between NCEEP member as NCEEP member and as proponent. How will that be treated by the committee? Kasi kung si ma-decide is already a member of the deciding body.
Kaya nga, I think given, assuming na rayaon na nag-arabot na si mga requests for livelihood support or employment support, mas ang pivot kang board is to prioritize yung galing sa barangay and yung sa ano. Kung mayo, then definitely yung sa perspective ng mga department heads, lalo na itong included yan sa board.
Yes. During the discussion in the committee, I remember that one of the tasks given to Mr. Mungoso is to identify a mechanism within this ordinance to ensure that the decision of the NCEEP is expeditious. Kasi kung taking so much time, i-review
Yeah.
sa mga proposals, what is the mechanism that is put in that proposal?
Actually po, subject pa rin sa deliberation ng board.
So, baka dapat may proviso kung gaano rin kabilis dapat magkaroon ang board. Parang part ng mandate ng ordinance itself. Oo.
Pwede po.
So, where can we put it? Maybe in
Implementation? Diyan, sa implementation.
Implementation po.
Sa implementation.
Yeah, section 3 itself.
Hindi na. C.
Ilagdag na ng table, Madam.
Okay. Thank you, Noble Arroyo. Any other comments? So, no comments. Everybody is agreeable to the comments, remarks made by the Metro Peso Chief, Mr. Mongoso. Okay, can now excuse Mr. Mongoso. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Rules are assumed.
So with this, Madam Chair, I move that we approve this on second reading.
Okay, on second reading. Approve on second reading. Next item.
The report to the Committee on Ways and Means.
Ways and Means, Honorable Gregorio Abunal.
Madam Chair, this is the report of the Committee on Ways and Means on its meeting of last Thursday. There are 19 pages here, Madam Chair, but I will take only page 1 and page 19.
Okay, report is acknowledged.
The item was the letter of the city mayor dated July 27, requesting for separate resolutions authorizing him to negotiate and contract loans with DBP or Land Bank and or FPD lending investor. For the disposition, Madam Chair, the hearing was attended by all the councilor members plus one NCPC representative, and in fact also by the local finance committee. The mayor came a little later, but he was also there with his entourage. For the disposition, Madam Chair,
Proceed.
on joint and collective motion of the members of the committee resolved to recommend to the Sangguniang Panlunsod to pass 2 separate resolutions authorizing His Honor the City Mayor to negotiate and contract loans with the Land Bank of the Philippines and the Development Bank of the Philippines, subject to ratification by the Sangguniang Panlunsod. So moved, Madam Chair.
Any second? Okay, approve. Another
That
resolution.
ends the report. Thank you.
You have two resolutions? Two resolutions. And then another one is for independent. Other
The second
financial
resolution, Madam.
Yes, 2.
Disposition, Madam Chair. Furthermore, another resolution authorizing His Honor the City Mayor to explore other financial institutions to negotiate and subject to ratification of the Sangguniang Panlunsod.
Any second to the motion? Okay, approve.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Abunal. Next item.
New business. The letter dated July 23, 2020 from Dr. Joseph Sanchez of the City Hospital requesting for authority for 2 of their staff members to secure cash advances in certain amount to be utilized for food supplies for the admitted patients and those in the facilities and surveillance unit and for various supplies respectively.
Referred to Committee on Appropriation.
The letter dated August 4, 2020 from the Honorable City Mayor seeking authority to enter into a MOA with the Metro Naga Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the NOICA Technologies for the development and deployment of client contact tracing system.
Health and Nutrition. Health. Contact tracing eh.
Health.
So Health. Committee on Health.
The email of Ms. Raquel Q. Candelaria, kusog kong seeking an audience on online conferencing to present a software as a service
Again,
solution.
Committee on Health.
The letter dated August 5 of Mr. Jose Manuel Gallianito, Basca Abella President, requesting to allow them to use PAJAC as
Committee
common
on Transport.
The endorsement from the Trimobile Task Force endorsing the application for transfer of Trimobile.
Committee on Transport.
The letter dated August 11, 2020 from the City Planning and Development Office submitting their technical evaluation on the application for
Committee on Land Use.
rezoning. Another transmittal from the Trimobile Task Force.
Committee
transmitting
on
the-
Transport.
The proposed ordinance mandating the establishment of community learning hubs for every barangay to assist the Department of Education in cascading its new normal approach, providing guidelines and mechanisms for its implementation and for other purposes.
Education. Committee on Education.
Education. The letter dated August 11, 2020 from Kusog Solutions.
That's
on
in Committee on
contact
Health.
tracing. Other matters, the office order dated June 1, 2020 from Honorable City Mayor on the designation as acting department head of POPCOM, Mrs. Joy Macraig, Population Program Officer.
Noted.
Advisory dated July 30, 2020 from DILG Secretary Anyo, reiterating SILG Memo 2018-133 on the suspension of LGU imposition and collection of illegal fees and taxes relative to transport of goods and products.
Noted.
The notice from Attorney Genesis Gatdula, Clerk of Commission on Elections, remoto proprio petition to deny due course to and or cancel certificate of candidacy of Salvino Rafael Christian San Luis.
Haloy na ba ganun? Noted.
Another notice for motu proprio petition to deny due course and or cancel of certificate of candidacy of Ken Bernard Datuon Basa.
Noted.
The letter dated July 22 from Engineer Rebecca Roses of the DPWH on the status of the July 9 letter request for utility to cost the signing of the revised MOA which was forwarded
Noted.
by
Next item.
the annual audit report from the Commission on Audit dated June 30, 2020.
Okay, Honorable Del Rosario.
Subanggi, Madam Chair, Priga, para basa ko po kayo ni. Nakaabot lang sa page ko yan eh. Kulang siya, Madam Chair, kaya pigka ulit ko si Ma'am Tin. Kaya siguro kung isusunod na ipadala sa to, Madam Chair, ano na, ning makompleto na. Anyway, yaon daig diyo. Importante kayo ni Madam Chair,
Ano kaya baga siya? Can you furnish miski sa email? Ay sa...
Duman lang sa itong summary na lang.
si summary. Okay. Kindly
Summary.
furnish all
Siguro ito ang
members
importanteng makano.
sa summary.
Putol kayo yan, Madam Chair. Garo, hanggang page 17 lang yan eh. Putol siya. Itong mga data na nahilig siya.
Okay. Kindly furnish all members of the summary of the audit report. Send it through emails. Next item.
Nominal voting.
Honorable Elmer Baldemoro.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before the nominal voting, Madam Chair, may we know our schedule of the next session?
In next session.
Either we already
17?
request, Madam Chair, for the declaration of
August
non-working
18.
holiday on August
Non-working
18.
holiday.
So may we know the consideration of the body with whether
Can we do
we
it
schedule
on-
on 17 or 19.
17 na lang. Because 21 is a holiday, di ba? So can we do it on Monday?
17.
17?
Dahil po, nag-request po
Pero
the August 18 po is special non-working
Working
holiday.
holiday.
But
So,
we
we are requested. We are requesting that it be declared.
ang non-working holiday po, it's already a Republic Act, pero special working holiday. Ang pig-request na po is special non-working
Non-working
holiday.
holiday. Monday na lang, 17.
So may I move,
Next
Madam Chair,
session.
that the next regular session will be on August
August
17 at
17.
9 a.m.
Okay, approve. Next item.
On the nominal voting, Madam Chair, may I move that all the approved resolution and ordinance be transferred to nominal voting and approve the same.
Any second? Approve. Next
Motion
item.
to adjourn, Madam Chair.
Any second? Session is adjourned.